What is going on, guys? Your boy Joey Shake72 coming to you guys with a video right now. So I want to go over some, just some not really speculation, but, just giving my 2 cents on a subject here of Zach Ertz, that the Eagles fans are dishonoring Zach Ertz, okay? Which I can't stand to hear that, because whatever Eagles fans that are sensitive on the Ertz subject, and there's plenty of them out there, you know what I mean? This is a move that has to be done, and obviously it's going to happen. I think the Eagles are making the right decision. I mean, I 100% think they're making the right decision. You have Dallas Goedert going to the final contract of his year, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that, you want to keep veteran players that have been here since, they were drafted here, and sometimes that doesn't work out. Sometimes it's not the perfect situation. Obviously, if we were in a better money situation, maybe Dallas Goedert had a few more years left on his contract. Maybe if it was different, then maybe he would have been brought back on that $12 million cap hit. I don't know. But dishonoring him, if someone says, well, we should trade Zach Ertz, that means we're dishonoring him. We're not dishonoring him, okay? We want to move on, and we should have moved on. And looking back at this whole entire thing, we probably should have traded him when we pretty much drafted Dallas Goedert. I mean, when you look back at it, you've been putting Ertz in front of Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert has done enough to get a contract extension. I want to see the numbers, obviously, when it happens. I think that the Eagles want to get something done before training camp, or at least before this year ends. So it could be middle of the year when he gets an extension. They want to lock him in here, so obviously he won't have any thoughts of going anywhere else, or saying, oh, you know what, let me take my my talents elsewhere. It is okay to say to a veteran player, it is okay for us Eagles fans to say, hey, I want to move on from this player, okay? And if you get ridiculed for it, then it is what it is. That's your opinion, and people just have to respect that. Okay, Zach Ertz has been everything to this franchise, okay? I do not discredit Zach Ertz for what he's done here. He's helped us win a Super Bowl. He's been one of the most hardworking players in this franchise, okay? I put nothing bad on him, okay? When it's time, it's time. And I know that some Eagles fans, and I get plenty of messages from Eagles fans saying, well, this whole offense played bad last year in 2020, so how can you single out Zach Ertz? Well, number one, Zach Ertz wants a big contract, which the Eagles are not going to give him. Back in the day, couple years ago, when Ertz was, there was talks about him being, maybe being traded, there was some infatuation with the fan base that we were going to sign Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz to long-term deals, and I said, no, that's definitely not going to happen. That's a total long shot that was actually going to happen, and it didn't happen. Okay. Eagles have signed Richard Rodgers, obviously, which clears up even more that Zach Ertz is not going to be here. But just because I don't want Zach Ertz here, and this is based off of obviously what people are talking about within the Eagles fan base, okay, I'm very straight up. I don't care if anyone's got something bad to say about, obviously, my opinions. I say whatever I think, and that's all that matters to me, okay? But when it comes to these players, there was a time earlier this year I was ready to trade. This is before the draft. This is right when the season ended. So this was before anything was happening. I don't know what was going on with Howie Roseman and Carson Wentz and all this stuff that was going on. I was ready to trade Darius Slay this year. I was ready for that to happen. I was going to put up a trade for Darius Slay, because I didn't know if the Eagles are rebuilding, or they retooling, or they want to compete, but they want to kind of retool at the same time. I didn't know what was happening. So why pay a corner that much money if you're just going to, rebuild, and you might as well just wipe the slate clean. Okay. And then obviously the Carson Wentz trade, we all know how that went down. I'm not going to get into that. You know how I feel about that. I was fine with it. I was fine with the compensation. I was fine with the trade. Great. But when you have players like this that have been held on for way too long, and trust me, guys, this isn't just the Eagles. There are plenty of teams that trade players that have been there a long time, okay? Zach Ertz was hurt last year. Zach Ertz didn't really produce last year. When Jalen Hurts was on the field, he caught maybe, and this was only because Jalen Hurts extended the play, I just don't think Zach Ertz deserves Austin Hooper, George Kittle, Travis Kelce money. I just don't see it. I know I'm frozen. Just doesn't deserve that money. I just don't see it. Even if he goes to another team, he's going to play out. Apparently, he's going to play out his contract and just see what happens from there. But because the Eagles fans want him gone, it means we're dishonoring him. Unless there's fans out there that say, oh, he wasn't good anyway, or they're just saying stuff like that, then I could understand that. But when you have fans like myself that say, oh, yeah, trade him as soon as possible, I'm not putting Zach Ertz down for what he has done here. Okay, let's get that straight. I'm saying, do you want to win another championship, or do you want to be back in the past and go with veteran players that Howie Roseman has done ever since the Super Bowl, guys? He has kept the same roster. Obviously there's some players that have left over the few years, and we just couldn't hold on to them money-wise, but we've held on to some players for way too long. Another example of this is next year. Fletcher Cox has got to really turn around this year. And I'm saying everyone's like, oh, yeah, 6.5 sacks, whatever. It's not about the sacks, okay? I can go into that Fletcher Cox situation. There are going to be veterans that they're going to be moving on. You want to make sure that Brandon Brooks stays healthy after 2 Achilles tears. You want to make sure Lane Johnson is not injured again. Forced to play on an injury for the past 2 years with 2 separate injuries. He played 5 to 6 games, and then obviously he had, the pain was too much. The pain tolerance was too much, and obviously he, had to sit out. So there are going to be changes, guys. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of a youth movement, and don't listen to anybody that wants to change your opinion about a Zach Ertz trade and thinking that you're dishonoring him because you want to trade him, which is ridiculous. Okay, which is totally ridiculous. Okay, I can't even understand. I'm all about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm all about making sacrifices, making the right moves to be in good position to win a second championship. Okay, what Howie Roseman has been doing since the Super Bowl has been wrong. Okay, when you don't have a developmental coaching staff, when you can't draft right, or maybe he has drafted right, but obviously the developmental aspect of getting these players to their maximum potential has not worked out, then that's a whole different story. You know what I mean? And then you got to keep, when your draft picks don't work out, you're not developing players the right way, the players are leaving to play well for other teams. Zach Ertz can go to another team like the Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Arizona Cardinals. There are plenty of spots. Okay, obviously, I think the trade for Zach Ertz, I think the trade value, I should say, for Zach Ertz has diminished in a million ways because they've held on to him for too long and they have promised they are not releasing him. But I'm telling you right now, if Zach Ertz is released, 100 million%, I put my life on this, that he will be an Indianapolis Colt. Signed by the Colts, free agent. He will go there. He will play with Carson Wentz. Frank Reich will pick him up instantly. I guarantee it. If we release him, that's where he's going to go. That's what Zach Ertz does want, okay? And you know what, guys? There was a chance for Zach Ertz to stay here. But at the end of the day, it made no sense to me because with this new coaching staff, they're obviously going a different direction, which is the right direction, and letting... Okay, because Zach Ertz is not going to be a number 2. Say you bring Zach Ertz back. Okay, we didn't sign Richard Rodgers. We bring Zach Ertz back. He was not going to be a number 2. Okay, let's get that straight. But you have Dallas Goedert. That's young. That's capable. That has become a very good blocker. Is like another possession 50-50 ball receiver on the field for you. Okay, and just because I want him traded or just because we want this trade, we're dishonoring what he's done here or dishonoring him as a player that's played for Philadelphia his whole career. That's just part of the business. I mean, it is what it is. If we had over $100 million in cap space, would I let him go? Of course not. But in our financial stability right now, it's not good. We have $5 million right now, guys. We're literally robbing Peter to pay Paul right now. We're literally focusing on this. Like, this move right here for Zach Ertz is going to depend on the Landon Dickerson signing, and we need to get another corner in here because of this. Like, we're relying on this trade to happen. You get $8.5 million in cap space. If you release him, you get half of that at $4.5 million. It's just not enough. Okay? So at the end of the day, guys, like, you know, don't listen to anybody that says, well, you're dishonoring him if you want to trade him. I'm done being emotionally attached to players. Like, you know, I respect what the Patriots have done over the years. I respect teams that just get rid of players when they, you know, they don't get emotionally attached. They plug players in that they have to plug in that will work in a system. And they get rid of players that obviously they don't think they're going to produce the next year. Like, they've been very smart about that. And on top of all that, guys, when you're less emotional attached as a business, like the Philadelphia Eagles, you don't end up in cap situations like the Eagles. $70 million over the cap. I mean, that's ridiculous. Then when you restructure players, you restructure players to actually make, like, to free up money for moves. You don't do restructures to try to get under the cap. That's not how you do it. That's not what restructures are for. Restructures free up money. Obviously, they give the player more guaranteed money up front. More money up front. The cap hit lessens for a couple years or whatever the contract is. Okay, so it frees up more cap for the year that you're in, and obviously gives them more guaranteed money. But when you're literally have to restructure nonstop and release players and restructure, and just, you have to do that to get under that cap. At the start of free agency, guys, the first day, we were $3 million under the cap. We just made it positive $3 million under the cap. And if you think, and you know what, if you think there's no problem with that, there is. Because when this team is emotionally attached to certain players and they keep re-signing guys that, or hold on to players for too long to the point where it's going to strangle your cap situation, this is the direction they cannot go in anymore. They have to be obviously in a new era where they can't rely on free agents. They have to build this team through the draft, and they have to develop, period. So with Zach Ertz, this isn't like we're being disrespectful, but it just has to happen because our situation is not for Zach Ertz right now. We offered him 2 contracts at the end of last year. 2 contracts. And guess what happened, guys? He declined both. But yet he's sitting there in front of his last press conference in Philadelphia, and he's crying. He's saying, I want to come back. I want to be, you know, but yet it is about the money, obviously. But I don't think he's that much of a tight end. Travis Kelce, Austin Hooper. I don't think he's, you know, he doesn't get any yak yards, guys. He has no speed. He's got reliable hands, but I mean, and maybe he's got a good separation at the break of his route. But I mean, other than that, it's like I'm seeing these other tight ends that are just, they're running like they're running backs, and they're running over people, and they're jumping, and they're so athletic now. The tight ends are like wide receivers in this new era of football now. So I don't want to make this video any longer, but you know, it's okay to say I want to trade Zach Ertz, guys. If you want another championship, if you want to see the Eagles go to another Super Bowl, these are the moves that you're going to have to go through. Philadelphia fans are not used to this, okay? Because other teams do this. Like, you know, you get rid of players that you don't want to get rid of, but you have to make your team better as a business aspect. When you get too emotional, you hold on and you're praying every year. Well, I don't want to be over the cap every year. I don't want to keep restructuring players every year. I want to have a healthy foundation for our cap and stay on with having multiple draft picks every single year. That's the way you build your football team, and that's the way it's going to be. So, not dishonoring, but you just have to let players go, and you just have to just accept it. Other than that, that's pretty much it. See you guys later. Shake Squad up, follow us live. Peace out, guys. Peace.